So, time for another episode of Boku no Hero Academia, also known as Gotta Go Fast, also known as Hey, stop interrupting my fight.
Also known as Man with the Beyblade Limbs.
Yes?
Come on. Can't tell me Spiral won't just turn himself into a Beyblade. He was a little tornado when Edith started carrying him.
Let it rip? Was that the American catchphrase?
That was the tagline, yes. Oh boy. Well, we get to see Super Recipro Turbo, which is he's so fast he can't control himself. I was gonna say, like, it's even worse because he's on top of ice doing this.
Yes! At first, when he was, breaking through the ice pre-credits, I'm like, did he turn himself into a car? Because, yeah, just the angle he was at, it looked like he was hunched over on all fours, just, driving around.
He just kept, flying faster and faster, and eventually he gets, a hit, and the guy's like, fuck! I gotta get out of here. I can't deal with this. He's too fast.
I am slowly liking the theme song.
So you know when I said Bluebird being similar to the intro, I meant the outro. That's the one that it reminds me of more. Either way. That's neither here nor there at this point.
I still think it sounds like an outro though, because
it does. It's a lighter theme than Bluebird would be.
Yeah, although we were discussing it in episode 1 or 2 review, but we need a little bit more of a rocking theme to pump us.
It doesn't pump as much as the other ones do, and I think that's why I don't care for it as much as the other ones. It's not bad. I don't hate it. It's there. It's okay. But yeah, it doesn't get you pumped the way the others do.
And maybe mid-season, if the theme changes, I'm like, come on.
Oh, well.
The first theme was so good.
Well, to be fair, this is also kind of a more mellow arc from the look of it. Nothing serious is actually going on here as far as the world plot.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I guess it fits in that idea at least. But yeah. All right. So yeah. What happened exactly? We got Mudman running off because he took a big hit, and he's like, I can't deal with this right now. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, this entire match takes place within 10 minutes because his Recipro Turbo never stops.
Didn't they say each match was 20 minutes?
I didn't catch the time limit. They may have. I don't remember it though.
I think
the first part of that match took 10 minutes. At minimum, it took 10 minutes because Ida was literally doing that the entire time before the time limit ran out.
Yeah, I think they mentioned at the start of round 1 that each round will be 20 minutes, and if nobody wins, whoever has the most people in wins.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, they may have, and I'm just not remembering it. But yeah, the interesting part is that the first half of this fight had to have taken 10 minutes before the teams even met up, or just before. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, Ida's whole thing lasts for 10 whole minutes, and it's going the entire time.
Even his talking gets faster.
Yeah, right. That was a great addition. Shit, even his talking gets faster. Wow. At least you're able to understand him.
And just one slight complaint about this, and I know this is a dumb thing to complain about, but Pony is supposed to be from America, yet she has such a thick Japanese accent when she speaks English. It just makes me think, and she's supposed to be half American?
I think she's supposed to be American, yeah. It's funny too, because in the previous episode we heard Mudman talk about that, right? talk like that, and he had a better American sounding accent than this girl did that's playing Pony.
I know it's dumb to complain about that, hey, maybe you didn't speak much English when you were living in America, but you should have an actress that sounds a little bit more believable as an American, but that's just me.
I mean, I get it. I think the casting could have been better. I don't mind her, but I can understand the complaint.
Yeah, but I mean, like, she sounds perfectly cute, bubbly.
Mm-hmm. Right, so what happens next? The Eater runs out, grabs, because he realizes that Mudman's probably run off to help everyone else. He runs off toward Ojiro, who's fighting Spiral, or Mr. Beyblade, as I like to call him. Basically just grabs him out of nowhere as Ojiro's like struggling, because apparently whatever the hell he's got on his fingertips, whatever that assist gear is fucking hard. And he's like, it's gonna, like, that shit's gonna tear chunks out of me. Like, if he gets a direct hit, he's losing pieces of his body.
Ooh.
At least that's the implication I got out of that.
So, what would happen if he would spin his wrist clockwise and his arm counterclockwise? I mean, like, his forearm. Would his wrist, would his hand itself seem like it wasn't moving because one's going clockwise, one's going counterclockwise? Would that cancel each other out, or what?
I think that can he even do that? Or does everything have to go in the same direction?
I'm not sure, because it seems he can manipulate different parts of his body. Like, he could...
Well, I get that, but I mean, like, if it's your entire... Like, if it's one finger and another finger, I could see that. I think if it's, like, your hand and then your arm, I think it would all have to rotate in the same way. Because going in the opposite direction, to me, would seem... It would just seem, personally, it would just seem painful. I guess you could do it if that's the way... if that's the way the author wants to handle that. I personally don't think that would make much sense from, like, a physics perspective.
Okay.
Like, you could do it with one arm and the other arm going in two different directions. I would think, though, or like I said, a finger and another finger. But I think if it's, like, something as interconnected as a hand and an arm, it'd be a lot harder to buy. And it would seem way more painful to do. Even with a quirk, I would think.
Okay, fair enough.
Could he? Yes, if he was able to. I would assume that it would cause a lot of problems from a physics perspective, honestly, from what I can think of.
How dare you bring physics into this discussion?
I mean, I do like the fact that he, like, slammed his hand into a freaking pipe and caused the entire thing to just reverberate so much that Ojiro couldn't hold on to it with his tail. That was a nice little touch to it.
And when Ingenium just grabbed him, he was still spinning.
He was, like, screaming like a little tornado that just kept, like, hollering. He's like, I haven't gotten to show off yet, you prick. He's just like, I'm not gonna let a villain show off.
And I just love it in this arc. Like, Class A is calling Class B the villains, Class B is calling Class A the villains, which puts an interesting perspective on their power set. It's like, yes, in this perspective, our heroes could be damn good villains.
Come on, man. Tetsu loves his justice. I do love a Pony keeps calling him, like, Hot Tetsu. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, are you admiring him? Or is this just the fact that he's hot? Like, literally hot. Like, on fire, glowing metal red hot. I'm sure there is a difference in, like, the Japanese language between those two, but as a dumb American, I can't tell. Most times tell me that means hot, and I'm not sure if that's using the slang version of hot or not.
Or maybe it's a Japanese wordplay joke.
Oh, it could totally be a wordplay joke. I have no idea.
I did find it funny that Tetsu spent some time training in an oven.
I'm honest. Here's what I'm most shocked by, right? I'm like, oh, cool. ice makes sense, it wouldn't work, but the fire should totally. Oh, so he's trained to deal with heat increases. Cool. How is his clothing still together? I would think the metal parts on his like hero suit would start to melt at least.
Good point.
That was my only complaint in that, because I'm like, all right, I can buy him doing this. His clothing, on the other hand, I have a little bit of an issue with that surviving. I get it would be durable, but there's a point where it would start melting, especially once Todoroki starts like turning up the heat to the point of like, oh no, I'm gonna go almost prominence burn levels of heat, where I'm just sitting there like, yeah, that should probably be melting at this point. Like, even if Tetsu can make it, that stuff should be just about gone.
Well, then again, he did maybe, like, give some kind of special heat resistance to his suit? I don't know.
I'm even taking that into account. I feel like by the time Shoto is totally doing the super heavy level of burn at the end there, he should be melting. Like, the clothing should be melting and burning. Like, that's just where I'm at with it. Because, like, they make a point of pointing out certain things where it's like, oh, this person's clothing is literally made from their own, what was it? Like, their own body here. So that, like, the guy that slips in and out of things, right? Like, just phases through things. His whole suit was made out of his own hair. So he could do the same thing, right? They get down to the nitty gritty about stuff like that. In his case, I'm like, that stuff should be burned. It should be gone.
Dude, this is anti.
I'm not... Look, you can do it tastefully, all right? Hell, you could even be like, shit, the heat resistance in my clothing can't handle this, and, like, see the little flame starting up on there, all right? Or just the metal parts of it melting, okay? Right? You can do it tastefully.
And then
like,
maybe...
hell, you see Goku bare-chested all the time because his clothing gets ripped apart. All right? We've done this easily before.
Okay, fair enough. Melty clothes.
Hey, I'm just trying to be realistic here. If they want to give me a reason why it didn't melt, I'll take it. Like, did Tetsu just, like, grind off some steel off his skin and be like, yeah, make this into my suit, too? Fine, I'll take it. I will take that as a good excuse and a good reason as to why it didn't completely, engulf itself in flames. I will take that. But, I mean, hell, you want to tell me that his suit was using the same tech that Endeavor uses to keep his clothing together during his heat? I'll take that. Alright? In Todoroki's case, they would know specifically that he's super heat boy. Alright? They'd make sure that that shit wouldn't fucking burn. Same with his cold side. Like, that stuff won't freeze. Same idea. They know him. They know his quirk and its abilities, alright? Maybe there's a point where it goes too hot, but they get a good idea. I'm picking on this way too much for this small nitpick.
Yes, you are! You are going way too far.
I'm sorry. I feel there's an inconsistency here. That's all. Where were we? All right. Where did we jump from there? It was just Tetsu versus Shoto for the most part from there on. Where it's just, oh man, I'm remembering that shit my dad talked about, going hotter and going beyond and being all plus ultra without actually saying the words. Why am I remembering this shit? Fuck it. This is supposed to be my power. I'ma burn everything to the ground.
I kind of like how Pony just used her horns and just shot somebody into jail with that.
Yeah, that was nice. Just like, you're going in.
What's going on? Oh!
Just launched and thrown in. Oh. So here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect to see Shoji just burst out a bunch of limbs all at once, right? And just start aura punching the horn Gatling gun, I guess. Which I thought she could only control 6 at a time.
She can control 6.
She can still fire more, though. Okay. Alright. You know what? That's fair. What else was there I wanted to say? Yeah, I like that. I did have one problem with the ending, though, and maybe this just was because he didn't think fast enough. But, we'll get there in a minute. So yeah, Shoto versus Tetsu. Kind of ends with a literal knockout because shit falls on him. That knocks Shoto out. Like, he was already on the verge, but, like, just the fact of, like, a pipe falls down and cracks him in the back of the head to knock him unconscious. I'm like, that's just bad luck. It's just unfair.
And I thought it was kind of funny that for all these one-on-one matches, like, who was it? Tail shows up, and then Mudman's like, oh, I'm here too. Gonna make this a 2-on-2 fight. And then who was it near the end that Mudman shows up, and then Ingenium also shows up? So this is like Fightus Interruptus.
Well, like, here's my other thing, right? That skill he used, did he just, like, pick that up on the fly from fucking Spiral? Where he was, like, getting sucked into the ground, and before Mudman could get to him, he, like, gyrated or something? Like, what the hell was that?
Maybe?
Oh, here we go. I'm looking at his wiki page. He spins around in midair, hitting anything around him with his tail. Okay, so this is actually, he used that right in this. So yeah, he just used that while he was stuck underground. It's a spin move, but I'm more curious. I guess he could, because it was liquid at that point. He'd be able to spin around like that, especially with the tail helping him do the movement. Yeah, no, I can buy it. But apparently he does it fast enough to literally, like, throw Mudman against a fucking pillar and just essentially throw people away from him.
Mm-hmm.
Just from, like, the current, I guess, he's generating by spinning like that. That was an interesting thing. I did not expect that. What else was there? That's when Pony fires off, gets him pinned into the jail cell. What else goes on here? Oh yeah, that's when Ingenium shows up too at that point, isn't it? And just out of nowhere, bitch slaps Mudman and nearly knocks him out with that one shot.
Yeah.
And in a last-ditch effort, forces like the kind of softening of that giant thing as Ingenium's running away, trying to, like, save his partner from being captured rather than going for the win. Which honestly, he probably could have if he had quickly grabbed Mudman and Tetsu at the same time. Because Tetsu was more or less unconscious. I don't think he would have put up much of a fight. Same with Mudman at that point. They were both nearly out. If he could have grabbed both of them by, like, the waistband and just dragged them along with them, they probably would have won.
Well, point in my category, because this ended in a tie, and...
Before we get to that...
Okay.
So, Ingenium gets more crushed, right? Shoji's coming up. Pony's like, well, shit, everyone's out. Grabs Shoto, Mudman, and Tetsu with her horns and just rises into the air, being like, I'll just run the timeout to get a draw. So here's where I'm curious, because Shoji was shown to be like, he was sprouting like an arm from another arm, right? Right there when he went to grab her.
I think.
Couldn't he do that to, like, increase his reach? Or, and this was the part I was thinking about before it showed us the time limit, I was thinking about, he could turn into a literal giant spider. Just keep sprouting limbs until you had giant spider limbs.
Oh my god.
Walk on over with them.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
I know, but it would have worked.
Yes?
It would have been cool. It's so awesome to see him just do that. Or heck, just with the two arms and launch himself up with, like, a fucking skull bash or something.
Maybe?
You know what? Now I'm curious. This would be interesting, actually. What if, and this would be less horrifying, what if he did the whole arm thing, right? But it depends on how fast he could do this. Depending on how fast he could sprout those limbs, he might be able to use, like, one or two of them to kind of launch himself into the air with how fast he produces them. Either way, I'm a little disappointed. I would have liked Giant Spider Shoji. That would have been fun.
There's still the opportunity for that to happen in later episodes.
There is. The Giant Spider Kaiju Shoji would be cool.
So this ends in a draw.
It does. It ends in a draw. Not even for fair reasons, just because timeout.
Bringing my prediction to a 2-2-1 a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
How badly do you think Bakugo will fail next time?
So here's the more interesting part. Based on two of the characters' abilities, I am way more curious to see how this fight would have played out if the fight from the next match coming up, if the Class B team there fought this team.
Oh.
Because two of them are just straight up, fuck you, Ida, you're not gonna move.
Oh. Do you want to spoil what they are?
If you don't want us talking about the next part, you can end it here. It was an alright fight. It was enjoyable. A little disappointed with the way Shoto went out, considering he was just going to go out anyway at some point or another. He was already halfway there. The pipe just did the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little disappointing that he hasn't grown enough to get past that, because he just seems to be getting shit on every time he gets into a fight. It's kind of sad, honestly. I was kind of hoping for him to get a win here, because like outside of the bleed dude, I forget his name. I'm blanking on it. But outside of that fight where it was just a combo fight with people, with him, Midori and Ida, he's not really gotten a win. Each and every time he's failed in some way, and it's kind of saddening. In Bakugo's case, it feels deserved just because he's an asshole. But in Shoto's case, I'm just like, this guy's trying to find his way, and he just can't get a win to save his life, and I feel bad.
So do you think Bakugo will massively lose spectacularly next time?
I don't know if he'll lose, but I feel like he's going to fuck up whatever plan is in place. Because he's either going to lose his cool, or he's going to rush in without a plan to begin with. Like, I don't know if he loses here. Even knowing, like, especially, I should say, knowing what these abilities are, I don't know if he wins or loses. Because it really comes down to how Class B plays themselves out, and how well Bakugo works with his other teammates. So yeah, if you don't want any spoilers as we talk about the rest of this, you can leave now. Are they gone?
Maybe.
Did they leave yet?
Okay.
All right. Here's what we got. We got the girl that they talked about coming in here, whose apparently secondary name or nickname is called Lizardy. She has a quirk. Her ability is called Lizard Tail Splitter. So you know how Pony can launch horns out, right? It's essentially that, except she splits her body apart into different pieces. And it's, from what I can tell, I think they all become like scales or something like that. And they can move freely. They can float. They apparently also have the same sensory perception regardless of what body part was used to create it. So they can like hear, smell, see, or something like that.
Wait. Are we still talking about Boku no Hero? Because that sounds like a full-on JoJo ability.
Yes, we are. Let's see here. So yeah, the other part is it also has the ability of regeneration. So even if a piece is missing, it can regenerate itself. However, that takes up a lot of this girl's stamina to do so. But that is her quirk ability. So it's definitely a scouting style like ability, right? So the next guy is okay. The next guy is the guy with the green hair, right? His basic ability is he's called Jack Mantis. There you go, that makes sense. His ability is basically I can sprout blades from different parts of my body. Apparently, according to this, he can slice through iron and steel with them.
Ooh.
So they're at least very tough. So blades, not too sure how that's gonna play into this team up. I guess it would cut Sero's tape a lot, depending on how tough Sero's tape is, but I'm pretty sure the blades would just slice through that stuff. So it's kind of a counter to him. So then we get into the next two, which are interesting. So there's a guy that we saw that has like kind of like a brown overcoat and shit, right?
Uh-huh.
Has like the spiky bluish hair. His ability, weld. He can fuse objects together at the atomic level, but he does have to be touching them for it to work. And it works on both organic and inorganic material.
Oh!
So you see what I mean by Ida, you're not going to move.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how well that works here. Like, how do you fight that? I mean, I guess in this case, Kyoka, Jiro would be able to do that. Like, she could deal with it with her sound waves. Pretty sure Sero can. Yeah, he should be able to slice his own tape off out of his elbows. Yeah.
And I'm seeing the other guy has a glue-like ability.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is a fast drying glue. And apparently he can decide he can change he can control, I should say, the speed at which the adhesive dries. So again, he makes giant fly traps. Ida's not gonna move. He's gonna trip and fall into the ground and just be stuck there.
Yeah.
You see why I would love to see this team fight the previous team.
That would have been interesting.
Because I feel like they've got two counters on Ida with this one.
Well, we're going to just have to see how they face off against Class 1A on the next episode of Boku no Hero.
One more thing. One more tidbit. Because I'm curious. We just mentioned the glue boy. What happens if he glues up Bakugo's grenade gloves?
Self-explosion?
Did it backfire?
Maybe?
I'm super curious how it goes. So, here, before we go, right?
Okay.
The final thing, curtain calls. Who do you predict wins this fight? Now that we have the ability of knowing the quirks.
I am going to say, I'm still going to stick to my 2-2-1 idea and say Class B will win this because Brainwash Boy, I'm forgetting his name, will awaken a new level of All for One. I mean, One for All, that will potentially... Oh, I don't know how to phrase this, but like, awaken Midoriya to a new power level and like tap into the secrets of All for One that are currently unknown, because last time he fought Midoriya...
I mean, I don't look, you can describe this all you want. I'm just focusing on match number 4 right now.
Okay, so Class B wins.
Kind of jumping ahead.
Class B wins because Class A will win in round 5. That's what I'm just going to say.
So you're not even coming up with an idea based on the quirks themselves, just based on your 2-2-1 theory, or 2-2-1 theory.
Kind of.
Okay, all right. Because I have a hard time deciding, because the glue and the weld thing kind of throws everything for a loop to me. Because I'm not sure.
Either that or Bakugo would just cause a super massive explosion with a new super move that just knocks everybody out except for himself within like the first 30 seconds.
He pulls a Majin Vegeta and blows himself up.
No.
I'm so mad, god damn it!
You know what?
Done.
That would be hilarious if within like the first 30 seconds, Bakugo just makes an enormous explosion, knocks out everybody but himself, and is like, looks like I win, and just carries everybody, including Class A.
He just throws all 7 of them into the jail. I don't care whose team you're on.
Yes, that would be such classic Bakugo.
So let me throw this at you just out of curiosity. Because this is still a possibility where you could still be right. What if the next 2 rounds are both draws?
Ooh.
Because that would still play into your theory.
Ooh, interesting.
Just a thought.
I don't know. So, we're going to have to check out round 4 on the next episode.
I want to see how good the Mantis is with those blades.
Let us rip.
That was last match.
Damn it. Catch everybody later.
Bye.